Welcome to Baby and Us, short videos to help you feel calm, confident and connected with your new baby. I'm Claire.
And I'm Catherine.
And you'll meet some of our amazing parent group leaders who will share experiences of life with their own new babies. This video is about managing difficult feelings, such as anxiety, anger, low moods and depression. So when experiencing these feelings, we want you to have a think about how you behave at these times, what you might do to manage, how do you think it might affect your baby, and lastly and most importantly, how would you like to manage these difficult feelings differently? Some examples we've got that we've tried and tested are looking after yourself, taking deep breaths or doing some mindfulness or relaxation like we did at the start, counting to 90, that's a particular favourite of mine, exercise, having some self-compassion and understanding that we all get upset sometimes, we all get angry sometimes, and we all have low days sometimes, and that's okay, and talking to someone. Maybe you've got some other ones that you can think of. If you're finding it harder than usual to manage your difficult feelings, or you're worried about the impact this can have on your baby, then it's really important to reach out for support.
After about 6 months, I was just so stressed. The days were incredibly long waiting for my husband to come home. And I started going to the local children's centre, and that made such a difference, just talking to other mums so that you can understand that actually what you're feeling is normal.
If I started to get a bit cross and the girls were perhaps getting a bit crotchety, we'd go for a walk. We'd just get them into the buggy and off we'd go. And immediately just being outside, it distracted them, it distracted me, and we'd all end up laughing. I think that was the thing. We had to laugh.
I think about the mum guilt as well. It's just trying not to compare, because you might think, oh, that mum's doing better than me, but you don't really know whether their husband's worked like maybe less shifts than yours that week, or you don't know if their baby has been fine that week and yours might have been teething or something like that. So I think you can't always compare. That's probably the biggest thing for me, not to try and set yourself up to fail by having unrealistic expectations.
One thing that I usually used to do is to think about what's making me angry. If it's housework and, too many things to do, then I'll definitely ask for help from whoever is available, my husband or, my mom when she came around, or even sometimes when friends come around to visit.
Right, now we're going to move on from thinking about our own feelings to thinking about managing conflicts that we may have in our relationships, and to think about how any relationship difficulties or emotions could affect our babies, and to give some ideas about how you can self-regulate and manage any of these difficulties in a safe way. So first of all, I want to ask you a question about your own parents. So can you remember how your parents resolved any disagreements or conflicts? And then to ask you, how did you feel when that was happening? So some people might have quite positive feelings as they experience those conflicts. They might have felt calm and confident that their parents were resolving the difficulties in a positive way. You might have been unaware that conflicts were going on, or you might have negative emotions or negative feelings. You might have felt frightened or worried or upset. You may have felt concerned or uneasy. Now we want to think about how you resolve any conflict in your own relationships. So we want to ask you to think about your own self-esteem and how that's affected by conflicts. Think about how comfortable you feel to talk about your partner or others about your own feelings. Do you feel like you're able to get your needs met? Are you able to express yourself clearly? again, think about looking after yourself, and make sure that you accept any compliments that people give you. Praise yourself for all the good things that you're doing. Think about ways that you can reward yourself, and take responsibility for yourself and respect yourself. It can be useful to think about the I statement as a good way to express your feelings really clearly, and think about the effect that it could be having on your baby. It is normal in a home with a new baby for there to be tension and arguments. It's very common, because often there's increased stress or less sleep, and there's been big life changes. But if you are finding things particularly difficult, or you're worried about your safety, then do reach out, and there's a helpline coming up on the screen that you could contact if you feel that you need to.
Now we're going to have a think about the effects of having a sibling on your older child. Thinking about how we manage sibling rivalry and how you might prepare for the arrival of the new baby. So we want to have a think about some of the things you might do to help this process along and help manage this. So some examples we have are having some time with your older child, how you might want to involve your older child in your baby's care, where it's safe to do so, and where they feel happy to join in. You want to look out for any opportunity you can to praise your older child for being helpful or being kind to their brother or sister. And there might be some other things you want to do, perhaps reminiscing about when they were a baby, looking at old photos. So have a think if you've got some ideas as well about what you could do to support this. But it is really important to validate your older child's feelings, even if their behaviour isn't appropriate in how they express them. And just acknowledging these feelings will really help them to regulate their experiences. It's also really important to think about how your older child is reacting and responding to their new baby brother or sister, because sometimes these feelings can come out where they might prod or poke the little baby, and so you might need to do a bit more supervising when they're together in the room rather than leaving them alone together, just in the initial stages. That can also be the same if they're completely smitten with their new baby brother or sister and they're hugging them so tight or wanting to pick them out from the cot and they're just a little toddler themselves. So do think about safety in relation to this and helping everyone, including yourself, adapt to the new change of a new arrival in the family.
I think my second one, my oldest one thought, oh, this baby is here for a short time. She's here on holiday. Because in our culture, when you have a baby, you have loads of people trooping in your house, like day in, day out, constantly. So I think in her mind, she thought, oh, maybe they've just come to see baby. Baby is here for a short time. And then as the visitors go back, baby will also go back eventually. So she was very happy initially, very helpful, until she realized the visitors stopped after a few weeks. They stopped coming. And baby was still here. And, I think that was when the penny dropped. And because I was breastfeeding exclusively, I was always with baby, and that created some conflict. So, it was challenging at some point.
The other thing I was told was to not make him have to act above his age or sort of expect him to suddenly grow up. In fact, probably expect him to sort of regress a little bit. So I've not been focusing on him like, oh, you're the big boy now, because that can be quite a lot of pressure for a child. If what he's feeling is that he's feeling left out and that's why he's become aggressive, well, then I think to push him away further is not going to help that. So I'll give him a cuddle and not shy away from his difficult feelings, because he's feeling this, and I don't want him to think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this because everybody thinks the baby's wonderful.
We bought him a little kiddie camera thing so that when he came into the hospital and he could take photos of the baby and all that sort of stuff. So it was something for him.
We just want you to think and reflect on what have you learned from the session today. And also continue to think about how you manage your emotions and ways that you could manage them as well as possible. And we're now going to finish with a couple of songs. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock struck 1, the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay, that's Hickory Dickory Dock, and now I think Claire's going to do a song too.
And we're going to finish as usual with Twinkle Twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Thanks everybody, that's the end of the session. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.